First contact, the arrival of the Tharkai. The day the Tharkai arrived changed everything. It was a crisp autumn morning when the massive alien vessels first appeared in Earth's orbit, their sleek, obsidian forms blotting out the sun over major cities worldwide. Humanity's long-held question of whether we were alone in the universe had been answered, but not in the way anyone had hoped. Dr. Ilara Chen, lead astrophysicist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, was among the first to detect the anomalies. She had been analyzing data from the James Webb Space Telescope when she noticed a series of unexplainable gravitational distortions near Jupiter. Within hours, similar reports flooded in from observatories around the globe. "This can't be right," Ilara muttered, her fingers flying across her keyboard as she cross-referenced the data. But there was no denying the evidence before her eyes. Something massive was approaching Earth at speeds that defied known physics. As governments scrambled to respond, panic spread among the populace. Social media exploded with theories, ranging from the absurd to the terrifying. News channels broadcast endless loops of shaky footage showing the alien ships hovering ominously over skylines. In Washington, D.C., President Alicia Reyes convened an emergency meeting of her top advisors. The tension in the Situation Room was palpable as military leaders, scientists, and intelligence officials debated their options. "What do we know about their capabilities?" the president asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. General Marcus Hawthorne, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, cleared his throat. "Ma'am, based on their method of arrival and the size of their vessels, we have to assume their technology far surpasses our own. Our current defensive capabilities would be inadequate." A heavy silence fell over the room. The implications were clear: humanity was outmatched. As the world held its breath, waiting for the aliens to make their move, an unexpected message was broadcast globally. The Tharkai, as they called themselves, announced their intention to elevate humanity by bringing Earth under their protection and guidance. They promised technological marvels and an end to all of humanity's woes in exchange for complete submission to Tharkai rule. For many, the offer seemed too good to be true. Others recognized it for what it was: an ultimatum. Surrender or face annihilation. In the days that followed, the world's leaders debated furiously. Some nations, seeing no alternative, began to capitulate. Others, led by a coalition of major powers, refused to bow to the alien demands. Dr. Chen found herself thrust into the center of these discussions. Her expertise in advanced physics and her quick thinking had caught the attention of the highest levels of government. As she pored over the limited data they had on Tharkai technology, a spark of an idea began to form. "Their ships," she explained to a room full of skeptical military brass, "they're using some form of gravity manipulation for propulsion and possibly defense. If we can understand and replicate even a fraction of that technology, we might stand a chance." General Hawthorne leaned forward, intrigued. "How long would something like that take, Doctor?" Ilara took a deep breath. "Under normal circumstances, decades, maybe centuries, but we don't have that kind of time. We need a breakthrough, and we need it now." And so, Project Starshield was born. A desperate, last-ditch effort to develop technology capable of defending Earth against the Tharkai threat. Scientists, engineers, and researchers from around the world were brought together in secret facilities, working around the clock to unlock the mysteries of the alien tech. Meanwhile, the Tharkai grew impatient. Their ships began to take more aggressive postures, hovering directly over major military installations and government buildings. Reports trickled in of people disappearing, civilians and military personnel alike, vanishing without a trace. As the deadline for Earth's surrender approached, tensions reached a boiling point. Protests erupted in cities worldwide, with some demanding immediate capitulation to avoid conflict, while others called for resistance at any cost. In her lab, Ilara worked tirelessly, fueled by a mixture of caffeine and sheer determination. She knew that the fate of humanity might well rest on her ability to unravel the secrets of Tharkai technology. As she stared at the holographic model of the Tharkay ship rotating slowly before her, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something crucial. It was during one of her rare moments of rest, as she gazed out the window at the stars above, that the realization hit her. The answer had been staring them in the face all along, hidden in the very fabric of space-time itself. With trembling hands, she reached for her tablet and began furiously inputting calculations. If she was right, this could change everything. As the simulations ran, confirming her theory, a mix of excitement and terror washed over her. They had a chance. A small one, but a chance nonetheless. Now, they just needed time to turn theory into reality before the Tharkay lost their patience. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Ilara sent an urgent message to General Hawthorne and President Reyes. The subject line read, "Project Starshield Breakthrough. Urgent meeting required." The race against time had begun, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The human response, Project Starshield. The underground facility housing Project Starshield buzzed with frenetic energy. In the weeks following Dr. Ilara Chen's breakthrough, the sprawling complex had transformed into a hive of activity, with scientists and engineers from every corner of the globe working in harmony towards a common goal: humanity's survival. President Alicia Reyes stood at the center of the main laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays and whiteboards covered in complex equations. Her eyes narrowed as she listened to Dr. Chen's explanation. "It's called quantum entanglement manipulation," Ilara said, her hands moving animatedly as she spoke. "The Tharkay ships aren't just bending space-time, they're weaving it. By creating a network of entangled particles, they can essentially knit the fabric of space around their vessels, allowing for instantaneous travel and impenetrable defenses." General Hawthorne frowned. "And you think we can replicate this?" Ilara nodded, her expression a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Not on their scale, not yet, but we've managed to create a prototype that manipulates quantum fields on a much smaller scale. It's a start." As if on cue, a young engineer named Raj Patel approached, carrying what looked like a small silvery sphere. "Dr. Chen, the latest test results are in. We've achieved stable entanglement for over an hour." A ripple of excitement passed through the room. It was a small victory, but in the face of overwhelming odds, every step forward felt monumental. President Reyes leaned in, her voice low. "How long until we can deploy this technology on a larger scale?" Ilara exchanged glances with Raj before answering. "With current resources, months, maybe a year. But Madam President, the Tharkay won't wait that long." The weight of her words hung heavy in the air. They all knew the aliens' patience was wearing thin. Reports from around the world painted a grim picture: more disappearances, increased Tharkay activity, and growing unrest among Earth's population. General Hawthorne cleared his throat. "We may need to consider buying ourselves more time. A distraction, perhaps." "You mean a strike against the Tharkay?" President Reyes asked, her brow furrowed. The general nodded grimly. "It would be risky, possibly suicidal. But if we could damage even one of their ships, it might give us the time we need to fully develop this technology." A tense silence fell over the room as they considered the implications. Any aggressive action against the Tharkay could provoke devastating retaliation, but inaction meant certain doom. Ilara spoke up, her voice quiet but firm. "There might be another way. We've been so focused on defense, but what if we could use this technology offensively?" All eyes turned to her as she continued. "If we can create a large enough network of entangled particles, we might be able to disrupt the Tharkay's own quantum fields. It wouldn't destroy their ships, but it could temporarily disable them." The idea sparked a flurry of discussion. Scientists and military strategists debated the feasibility and risks, while President Reyes listened intently, weighing each argument. As the debate raged on, Raj pulled Ilara aside. "There's something else," he whispered, glancing around to ensure they weren't overheard. "During our last test, we picked up some strange readings. It was almost like something was responding to our quantum manipulations. Ilara's eyes widened. You mean something Tharkai? Raj shook his head. No, this was different. It felt, I know this sounds crazy, but it felt ancient, like we'd accidentally tapped into some kind of cosmic communication network. Before Ilara could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Hawthorne's voice boomed over the intercom. We have multiple Tharkai ships entering the atmosphere. They're heading straight for major military installations. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Chaos erupted as personnel rushed to their stations. President Reyes turned to Ilara, her expression grave. Doctor, whatever you're working on, we need it operational now. How fast can you scale up your prototype? Ilara's mind raced, calculating possibilities. If we divert all resources and work around the clock, maybe we could have a full-scale version ready in 2 weeks. You have one, the president replied, her tone brooking no argument. Whatever you need, you'll have it. Just make it work. As the facility transformed into a whirlwind of activity, Ilara couldn't shake the nagging feeling that they were missing something crucial. Ray's words echoed in her mind. An ancient cosmic network. Could it be the key to their salvation? With renewed determination, she dove back into her work. The quantum entanglement manipulator hummed to life, its silvery surface reflecting the determination in Ilara's eyes. As she fine-tuned the device, she whispered a silent prayer to the universe. Come on, show us your secrets. The fate of humanity depends on it. Outside, the sky darkened as Tharkai ships descended, their ominous forms casting long shadows over a world teetering on the brink. The final countdown had begun, and the next few days would determine the future of the human race. In labs and bunkers around the world, humanity's best and brightest worked tirelessly, united in their desperate bid for survival. Project Starshield had become a beacon of hope in the darkness, a last stand against an enemy that threatened to extinguish everything they held dear. As the first reports of Tharkai attacks trickled in, Ilara redoubled her efforts. The quantum manipulator pulsed with energy, each successful test bringing them one step closer to their goal. But would it be enough? And what other secrets might they uncover in their race against time? The answer, as it turned out, would come from the most unexpected of places, challenging everything they thought they knew about the universe and humanity's place within it. Battle for Earth's orbit. The night sky blazed with an otherworldly light as humanity made its stand against the Tharkai invasion. Project Starshield's quantum entanglement manipulator, hastily scaled up and deployed on a fleet of retrofitted satellites, formed a shimmering web around the Earth. It was an untested defense against an overwhelmingly superior force, but it was all they had. From her position in the underground command center, Dr. Ilara Chen watched the holographic display with bated breath. Alongside her stood President Reyes, General Hawthorne, and a team of the world's top scientists and military strategists. Tharkai ships approaching quantum net perimeter, a technician announced, his voice tense. Ilara's fingers flew across her console, making last-second adjustments. Initiating quantum field disruption in 3, 2, 1. The room held its collective breath as the first wave of Tharkai vessels made contact with the invisible barrier. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, the alien ships began to falter. It's working, Reg exclaimed, his eyes wide with disbelief. Their quantum fields are destabilizing. On the main screen, they watched as the massive Tharkai ships, once sleek and unstoppable, began to drift aimlessly in space. Their gravity manipulation technology disrupted, they were at the mercy of Earth's natural forces. A cheer went up in the command center, but Ilara remained focused. Don't celebrate yet, she warned. This is just the first wave, and we don't know how long the effect will last. Her caution proved prescient. Within minutes, the Tharkai launched a counterattack. Smaller, more agile craft poured out of the disabled ships, their designs seemingly unaffected by the quantum disruption. Fighter squadrons, engage. General Hawthorne ordered. Around the globe, pilots scrambled to their aircraft, ready to defend their home against the alien threat. What followed was a battle unlike any in human history. Earth's fighters, though technologically outmatched, fought with a ferocity born of desperation. They weaved between the disabled Tharkai capital ships, using them as cover against the swarms of alien fighters. In low Earth orbit, astronauts aboard hastily weaponized space stations joined the fray, using experimental weapons developed from the quantum entanglement research to target the Tharkai craft. As the battle raged, Ilara and her team worked feverishly to maintain and strengthen the quantum net. Each successful disruption of a Tharkai ship was met with cheers, but the aliens were adapting quickly. They're changing their quantum frequency. Raj shouted over the din of the command center. Our disruptors are becoming less effective. Ilara's mind raced. They needed something more, something the Tharkai couldn't adapt to so quickly. That's when she remembered Raj's earlier discovery, the strange, ancient signal they detected during their experiments. Raj, she called out, that cosmic network you mentioned, can we tap into it? His eyes widened with understanding. It's risky. We don't know what it might do. At this point, we don't have much choice, Ilara replied grimly. With a nod from President Reyes, they set to work, recalibrating the quantum net to resonate with a mysterious cosmic frequency. As they worked, the battle above grew more intense. Reports of heavy losses on both sides flooded in, and the disabled Tharkai capital ships were beginning to regain control. Whatever you're doing, do it fast. General Hawthorne barked, his eyes fixed on the tactical display showing Earth's dwindling defenses. With a final keystroke, Ilara activated the recalibrated system. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a wave of energy unlike anything they'd ever seen burst forth from the quantum net. The effect on the Tharkai was immediate and dramatic. Their ships, from the smallest fighter to the largest capital ship, suddenly went dark. But that wasn't all. To everyone's astonishment, the energy wave continued outward, enveloping the Earth in a soft, pulsing glow. What's happening? President Reyes demanded, her voice a mixture of awe and concern. Before Ilara could respond, a new voice filled the command center, not from any speaker, but seemingly from the air itself. It spoke in no known language, yet everyone present understood it perfectly. Children of Earth, the voice resonated, ancient and powerful. You have awakened the cosmic accord. Your species has proven its worth by rediscovering the old ways. The Tharkai threat has been neutralized. It is time for you to take your place among the stars. As the voice faded, the holographic displays showed the Tharkai ships retreating, their once fearsome fleet now in disarray. Cheers erupted throughout the command center, but Ilara remained focused on the lingering glow surrounding the Earth. Dr. Chen, President Reyes said, her voice hushed. What just happened? Ilara shook her head, her mind reeling with possibilities. I think we just passed some kind of test, and I have a feeling our understanding of the universe is about to change dramatically. As the celebrations began and the immediate threat receded, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had survived its first true cosmic trial, but what challenges and wonders awaited them now? The quantum entanglement manipulator hummed softly, its glow matching the ethereal lights surrounding the Earth. In that moment, Ilara knew that humanity stood on the brink of a new era, one filled with unimaginable possibilities and responsibilities. The battle for Earth was over, but humanity's journey to the stars had only just begun. Unlikely allies, the Zorn Rebellion. In the months following Earth's miraculous defense against the Tharkai, humanity found itself thrust into a galactic stage it had never known existed. The voice of the cosmic accord, as it came to be known, had opened doors to knowledge and technology beyond human imagination. But with this great awakening came new challenges and unexpected alliances. Dr. Ilara Chen stood before the United Nations General Assembly, now expanded to include representatives from every nation on Earth. The chamber buzzed with anticipation as she prepared to deliver her report on humanity's latest discoveries. "Distinguished delegates," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "our understanding of the universe has grown exponentially since the activation of the cosmic accord. We've learned that Earth is but one of countless worlds touched by this ancient network, a system designed to guide and protect developing civilizations." Murmurs rippled through the assembly as Elara continued. "However, we've also discovered that not all spacefaring races adhere to the Accord's principles. The Tharkai, it seems, were not unique in their conquering ambitions." The holographic display behind her flickered to life, showing a star map of nearby systems. Several pulsed with an ominous red light. "These are worlds currently under the control of the hegemony, a coalition of aggressive species that reject the Cosmic Accord's guidance. They seek to dominate rather than cooperate, viewing younger races as resources to be exploited." The chamber erupted in concerned chatter. President Reyes, now serving as Earth's representative to this new galactic community, raised a hand for silence. "Dr. Chen, what are our options? We've barely begun to understand our place in this larger universe. How can we hope to defend ourselves against such threats?" Before Elara could respond, the chamber's doors burst open. A delegation of alien beings strode in, their appearance causing gasps and murmurs throughout the assembly. They were tall, with iridescent scales and piercing eyes that seemed to shift color. At their head was a figure that radiated authority. "Forgive our intrusion," the leader spoke, their voice translated smoothly by the Accord's technology. "I am Zarthul, High Commander of the Zorn Rebellion. We come seeking alliance with Earth." Security personnel tensed, but President Reyes motioned for calm. "We welcome you, High Commander. But I must ask, what is the nature of this rebellion you speak of?" Zarthul's multifaceted eyes scanned the room before settling on Elara. "Your kind has proven itself worthy of the Cosmic Accord. We have watched your battle against the Tharkai with great interest. The Zorn were once part of the hegemony, but we have seen the error of our ways. We seek to overthrow their tyrannical rule and restore balance to our sector of the galaxy." Elara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. "You mentioned watching our battle. How?" "Our sensors detected no other ships in the system." A sound like chiming crystals emanated from Zarthul, their species equivalent of laughter. "The Cosmic Accord provides more than just knowledge, Dr. Chen. It offers paths through space-time that your instruments cannot yet detect. We have been closer than you know." The implications of this statement sent Elara's mind reeling with possibilities. If they could harness such technology. President Reyes, ever the diplomat, brought the conversation back to the matter at hand. "High Commander, while we appreciate your offer of alliance, Earth is still finding its footing in this new galactic landscape. What exactly are you proposing?" Zarthul's expression grew solemn. "The hegemony fears the power of the Cosmic Accord. Your activation of it has not gone unnoticed. Even now, they prepare a force that dwarfs the Tharkai fleet you faced. We propose a joint defense, our experience and advanced technology combined with your ingenuity and the Accord's blessing." The chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for caution, insisting that Earth focus on its own development before engaging in galactic conflicts. Others saw the alliance as an opportunity to secure humanity's place among the stars. As the arguments raged, Elara's mind was elsewhere. The quantum entanglement manipulator they had developed, could it be adapted to utilize these hidden paths Zarthul mentioned? And what other secrets did the Cosmic Accord hold? She caught Ray's eye across the room, seeing her own excitement mirrored in his expression. There was so much to learn, so much to discover. President Reyes's voice cut through the clamor. "High Commander Zarthul, we will need time to discuss your proposal. But know that Earth is committed to peace and justice, not just for our world, but for all sentient beings." Zarthul bowed, a gesture they had clearly adopted for human benefit. "We understand. We will await your decision, but be warned, the hegemony does not grant the luxury of time. As the Zorn delegation departed, leaving the assembly in a state of bewildered excitement, Ilara approached President Reyes. "Madam President," she said, her voice low but urgent, "I believe we've only scratched the surface of what the Cosmic Accord can offer us. With your permission, I'd like to assemble a team to work directly with the Zorn to combine our quantum manipulation technology with their understanding of the Accord's capabilities." President Reyes nodded thoughtfully. "Do it. But remember, Dr. Chen, in this new frontier, scientific discovery and diplomacy must go hand in hand. We're not just exploring the stars now, we're shaping the future of galactic civilization." As Ilara left to begin her work, she felt the weight of that responsibility. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, one filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. The battle against the Farke had been just the beginning. Now, with unlikely allies at their side and the power of the Cosmic Accord at their fingertips, they faced an even greater challenge. The fate of not just Earth, but countless worlds hung in the balance. And somehow, improbably, humanity found itself at the center of it all. Operation Cosmic Slingshot. The joint Human-Zorn research facility, nestled in a repurposed lunar base, hummed with activity. Dr. Ilara Chen stood before a massive holographic display, her eyes darting between swirling quantum patterns and star charts. Beside her, the Zorn scientist Kalzar manipulated the controls with fluid grace, his iridescent scales shimmering under the artificial light. "The convergence is almost perfect," Kalzar chirped excitedly. "Your quantum entanglement technology, combined with our understanding of the Cosmic Accord's pathways, is yielding results beyond our wildest expectations." Ilara nodded, a mix of pride and apprehension coursing through her. In the months since the alliance with the Zorn rebellion, they had made leaps in scientific understanding that would have taken centuries under normal circumstances, but time was a luxury they didn't have. "Incoming transmission from Earth Command," Reg announced from his station. The holographic display shifted, revealing the stern visage of General Hawthorne. "Dr. Chen, we've received intelligence from Zorn scouts. The hegemony fleet has begun its advance. We estimate they'll reach our solar system within the week." A tense silence fell over the room. They all knew what was at stake, not just the fate of Earth, but potentially that of all free worlds in this sector of the galaxy. Ilara took a deep breath before responding. "General, I believe we're ready to initiate Operation Cosmic Slingshot. It's risky, but it may be our best chance." The plan they had developed was audacious, to say the least. By combining Earth's quantum manipulation technology with the Zorn's understanding of the Cosmic Accord's hidden pathways, they aimed to create a vast, controlled wormhole. This cosmic slingshot would allow them to redirect the hegemony fleet, sending them far off course and buying precious time for the Alliance. General Hawthorne's expression remained grim. "The President has given the green light, but I need to know, Doctor, what are the odds of success?" Ilara exchanged glances with Kelza before answering. "Theoretically, the math checks out, but we're dealing with forces we barely understand. I put our chances at 60-40 in our favor." The general nodded, his features softening slightly. "Better odds than we usually get in war. Proceed with the operation, Doctor. Earth's defenses are on high alert, and the Zorn fleet is in position. Whatever happens, know that humanity is grateful for your efforts." As the transmission ended, Ilara turned to her team. Humans and Zorn worked side by side, a sight that would have been unimaginable just months ago. "All right, people, this is what we've been preparing for. Let's make history." The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. Massive quantum entanglement generators were positioned in key locations throughout the solar system, each tied into the Cosmic Accord's energy network. Zorn ships, cloaked by technology still mysterious to humans, took up strategic positions to help guide the wormhole's formation. As the countdown to the hegemony fleet's arrival ticked away, tension mounted. Earth's cities were on lockdown, its newly bolstered defenses primed for a fight they hoped to avoid. The combined human-Zorn fleet, though impressive, was still vastly outnumbered by the approaching enemy. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. From her command center on the lunar base, Ilara gave the order: initiate Operation Cosmic Slingshot. At once, the quantum generators roared to life. Streams of energy, visible even from Earth's surface, began to coalesce at a point just beyond Mars' orbit. The fabric of space-time itself seemed to warp and bend. Hegemony fleet detected, Raj shouted over the din. They're dropping out of FTL now. On the main view screen, they watched as thousands of Hegemony ships materialized. Their sleek, predatory designs made the Tharkei vessels look primitive by comparison. For a moment, Ilara's heart sank. How could they hope to stand against such overwhelming force? But then something remarkable happened. As the Hegemony fleet advanced, the swirling vortex of quantum energy expanded rapidly. Before the enemy could react, the leading ships were caught in its pull. "It's working," Kalzar exclaimed, his scales flashing with excitement. "The wormhole is forming exactly as calculated." Ilara watched in awe as ship after ship was drawn into the cosmic slingshot. The Hegemony fleet, once an unstoppable armada, was being scattered across the galaxy. But the operation was taking its toll. Warning alarms blared as the quantum generators strained under the immense energy requirements. "We can't maintain the wormhole much longer," Raj warned, his fingers flying over his console. "The system is becoming unstable." Ilara made a split-second decision. "Divert all power to the generators. We need to hold it open just a little longer." The lights in the command center flickered and dimmed as power was rerouted. On the view screen, the last of the Hegemony ships vanished into the swirling vortex. "Cut power now," Ilara ordered. With a blinding flash and a shockwave that rocked the lunar base, the wormhole collapsed. As the dust settled and systems came back online, a stunned silence fell over the command center. Did we do it?" someone asked hesitantly. Raider's voice was filled with disbelief as he read the sensor data. "Confirmed, 98% of the Hegemony fleet has been displaced. The remaining 2% are in full retreat." A cheer went up, humans and Zorn alike celebrating their improbable victory. Ilara felt a wave of relief wash over her, but she knew their work was far from over. As congratulations poured in from Earth and the Zorn High Command, Ilara's mind was already racing with new possibilities. The power they had wielded, the forces they had manipulated, it was just the beginning of what the Cosmic Accord could offer. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, not just as defenders of their own world, but as guardians of cosmic balance. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But for the first time, Ilara felt truly hopeful about the future. As she looked out at the stars, no longer distant and unreachable, she knew that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. A new era for humanity. 5 years had passed since Operation Cosmic Slingshot, and Earth had undergone a transformation that would have been unimaginable just a decade ago. The skylines of major cities now featured gleaming towers of advanced alloys, their designs a harmonious blend of human aesthetics and alien engineering. Quantum transportation hubs allowed for near-instantaneous travel across the globe, while orbiting habitats housed burgeoning off-world communities. Dr. Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive space platform that served as Earth's primary hub for interstellar diplomacy and trade. Below her, the blue marble of Earth rotated serenely, while all around, ships of various designs, human, Zorn, and a dozen other allied species, moved in carefully choreographed patterns. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Ilara turned to see President Reyes, now in her second term and looking as determined as ever. "Madam President," Ilara greeted her with a smile. "I didn't expect to see you here today." At once, the quantum generators roared to life. Streams of energy, visible even from Earth's surface, began to coalesce at a point just beyond Mars' orbit. The fabric of spacetime itself seemed to warp and bend. Hegemony Fleet detected, Raj shouted over the din. They're dropping out of FTL, now. On the main view screen, they watched as thousands of Hegemony ships materialized. Their sleek, predatory designs made the Tharkai vessels look primitive by comparison. For a moment, Ilara's heart sank. How could they hope to stand against such overwhelming force? But then, something remarkable happened. As the Hegemony Fleet advanced, the swirling vortex of quantum energy expanded rapidly. Before the enemy could react, the leading ships were caught in its pull. "It's working," Kalzar exclaimed, his scales flashing with excitement. "The wormhole is forming exactly as calculated." Ilara watched in awe as ship after ship was drawn into the cosmic slingshot. The Hegemony Fleet, once an unstoppable armada, was being scattered across the galaxy. But the operation was taking its toll. Warning alarms blared as the quantum generators strained under the immense energy requirements. "We can't maintain the wormhole much longer," Raj warned, his fingers flying over his console. "The system is becoming unstable." Ilara made a split-second decision. "Divert all power to the generators. We need to hold it open just a little longer." The lights in the command center flickered and dimmed as power was rerouted. On the view screen, the last of the Hegemony ships vanished into the swirling vortex. "Cut power now," Ilara ordered. With a blinding flash and a shockwave that rocked the lunar base, the wormhole collapsed. As the dust settled and systems came back online, a stunned silence fell over the command center. Did we do it?" someone asked hesitantly. Raj's voice was filled with disbelief as he read the sensor data. "Confirmed. 98% of the Hegemony Fleet has been displaced. The remaining 2% are in full retreat." A cheer went up, humans and Zorn alike celebrating their improbable victory. Ilara felt a wave of relief wash over her, but she knew their work was far from over. As congratulations poured in from Earth and the Zorn High Command, Ilara's mind was already racing with new possibilities. The power they had wielded, the forces they had manipulated, it was just the beginning of what the Cosmic Accord could offer. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, not just as defenders of their own world, but as guardians of cosmic balance. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But for the first time, Ilara felt truly hopeful about the future. As she looked out at the stars, no longer distant and unreachable, she knew that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. A new era for humanity. 5 years had passed since Operation Cosmic Slingshot, and Earth had undergone a transformation that would have been unimaginable just a decade ago. The skylines of major cities now featured gleaming towers of advanced alloys, their designs a harmonious blend of human aesthetics and alien engineering. Quantum transportation hubs allowed for near-instantaneous travel across the globe, while orbiting habitats housed burgeoning off-world communities. Dr. Ilara Chen stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a massive space platform that served as Earth's primary hub for interstellar diplomacy and trade. Below her, the blue marble of Earth rotated serenely, while all around, ships of various designs, human Zorn, and a dozen other allied species, moved in carefully choreographed patterns. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Ilara turned to see President Reyes, now in her second term and looking as determined as ever. "Madam President," Ilara greeted her with a smile. "I didn't expect to see you here today." "I wouldn't miss this for the world," Reyes replied. "The first graduating class of the Cosmic Accord Academy. It's a milestone worth celebrating." Together, they watched as a procession of young cadets entered the station's grand auditorium. Humans walked alongside Zorn and representatives from other allied races, all wearing uniforms that bore the insignia of the newly formed Galactic Peacekeeping Force. "It's hard to believe how far we've come," Ilara mused. 5 years ago, We were fighting for our very survival. Now we're training the next generation of cosmic explorers and diplomats. President Reyes nodded thoughtfully. And yet, our work is far from over. The hegemony may have been scattered, but they're regrouping. And there are other threats out there, some we can't even imagine yet. As if on cue, Rage's voice came over the comm system. Dr. Chen, President Reyes, your presence is requested in the command center. We've received a priority transmission from the Deep Space Outpost in the Andromeda Galaxy. Exchanging concerned glances, Ilara and the President made their way to the Heart of Harmony station. The command center was a marvel of human and alien technology, with holographic displays showing real-time data from across known space. High Commander Zarthol of the Zorn was already there, his scales shimmering with anticipation. Greetings, my friends. It seems our expedition to Andromeda has made an extraordinary discovery. With a gesture, he activated the main view screen. An image appeared, showing what looked like an enormous structure floating in the void between galaxies. Its design was unlike anything they had ever seen, a twisting, fractal pattern that seemed to defy the laws of physics. By the accord, Ilara breathed. What is it? The leader of the Andromeda expedition, a seasoned human astronaut named Captain Maria Santos, appeared on the screen. Dr. Chen, Mr. President, Commander Zarthol, we believe we found the source of the cosmic accord itself. Our initial scans suggest this structure is millions, possibly billions of years old, and it's sending us a message. The command center fell silent as a series of complex mathematical equations scrolled across the screen. Ilara's mind raced as she began to decipher their meaning. It's an invitation, she said at last, her voice filled with awe. The accord. It's inviting us to take the next step in cosmic evolution. President Reyes turned to Zarthol. What do you make of this, Commander? The Zorn leader's eyes shimmered with emotion. In all our histories, in all the legends of my people, there have been whispers of such a moment. A time when worthy civilizations would be called to join the architects of the universe itself. As the implications of this discovery sank in, Ilara felt a familiar mix of excitement and trepidation. They stood on the brink of something monumental, a leap in understanding that could reshape the very fabric of reality. What's our next move? Rage asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. President Reyes straightened, her expression resolute. We do what humanity has always done when faced with the unknown. We explore, we learn, and we face whatever challenges lie ahead together, not just as humans, but as part of a greater cosmic community. Ilara nodded, her mind already racing with the possibilities. I'll assemble a team, the best minds from Earth, the Zorn, and our other allies. We'll need to pool our knowledge, our technologies, our very ways of thinking if we're to understand what this invitation truly means. As the command center burst into activity, preparations already underway for this new grand adventure, Ilara took a moment to gaze out at the stars. In just a few short years, humanity had gone from a species confined to its home planet to one that stood ready to help shape the destiny of galaxies. The challenges ahead were immense, the dangers real. The hegemony was still a threat, and who knew what other forces might seek to disrupt the delicate balance of the cosmos. But as Ilara looked around at her colleagues, human, Zorn, and others, all working together towards a common goal, she felt a surge of hope. This was humanity's true destiny. Not conquest, not mere survival, but to be part of something greater, to contribute to the grand tapestry of the universe itself. As they prepared to take their first steps into this new cosmic frontier, Ilara knew that the greatest chapter in human history was just beginning. The stars beckoned, and humanity, along with its allies, was ready to answer the call.